Hey guys, welcome bent to the channel. If you are new here, I am Toy, and well, this is the life. I'm actually just coming back from a WIC appointment. But before we get into this chit chat, brief chit chat, I want you to stop what you're doing. If you're not subscribed, sis, bruh, what are you waiting on? Please help a sister out. I am so close to 1,000 subscribers. I know that sounds like a little to most, but it would be a big deal to me. So please, if you can subscribe to this channel, keep supporting us. And yeah, I'll try to keep coming out with the content the best I can and try to be consistent the best I can. So I mentioned in my last video that I had the baby. It was basically just to show you guys pictures of the baby. If I'm being quite frank, I didn't go deep into how the birth of my child, like what happened that day, how I felt afterwards. I didn't go into any details. I did make a comment saying that it did not turn out as I expected, and that's what a little bit what I want to speak about today. So today my son is 2 months old, and so recapturing that day. Honestly, you guys, I'm a very organized person. Anyone who knows me personally knows that I don't do things spontaneously. I'm very organized. So I had in my head down to the T what was going to happen this day. Um, I am a very naturalist, if that's such a word, but I already knew I didn't want any medication. I already knew I wanted a completely natural birth. But when I say natural, people think a vaginal birth. It was deeper than that. I wanted the atmosphere to completely, the aura to be completely natural. I wanted the quiet music, the dim lights. I wanted the birthing bath. I wanted the ball. I wanted to really have this baby the way God intended it to be. And when I say nothing that I planned happened the way I planned it, I mean nothing, guys. Um, I had my baby at GW, and the first, I want to say, thing that got thrown off was when my water broke, which my water broke at home. And I waited till the last minute to come to the hospital. I sat around in my home at least for about 3 hours before I actually went to the hospital after my water broke. It broke and the water was the fluid was not clear. It was gooky and it was a muddy type look. I knew something was off about that because I've done a lot of research on how the amniotic, am I saying that right? Don't come for me in these comments, but how the fluid should look. And this did not look like that. Once we got to the hospital, they told me that it could be pretty normal, but what happened is the baby actually had a bowel movement prior to birth. So that's what I was seeing, is that the baby had stool inside the amniotic fluid. So they were a little worried about that because they said the baby could have had ingest some, and that could like have something to do with his breathing. Another thing was baby boy was not trying to be monitored that day. So every time they would put him on the monitor, the heart, it was like really hard to find his heartbeat. And so that was another red flag. Another red flag is I'm a high risk pregnancy anyways. I had just gotten my cerclage taken out. For those of you who don't know what a cerclage is, please look back at some of my prior videos. I did a whole video about that. And then also, I am a little older in age. For those who don't know, I was 25 when I originally got pregnant, but by the time I had baby boy, I was 20 36. Let me rewind that. I was 35 when I originally got pregnant with baby boy, and then I was 36 when I delivered him. So with that being said, I had a few high risk flags. So what they did is they started off pretty strong with me. When I first came to the hospital, my contractions were not crazy, so I was able to advocate for myself. I told them everything I wanted, and they said they could accommodate all that. Once they got me in a room, my contractions started to pick up tremendously, and at that point, I was no good to even talk. That's when she told me that the monitor to monitor the baby, the one that was supposed to be I don't mobile. That's what it was supposed to be, a mobile one. It was not working. So she said that the only monitor she could get to monitor the baby that was available was one that was actually connected to like some form of a computer. And so she said, because of that reason and because of me being a high risk, I'm not allowed to walk around. Allowed. Had she said that when I was coherent, we would have had issues. But she wanted me to be confined to the bed. This was GW's nurses. So, and it's not just being confined to the bed. I had to be confined in one specific position, which was super uncomfortable. Not to mention, my IV came out, so I had to be poked multiple times, which is causing me even more pain. Reliving this moment, the contractions by themselves were extremely painful, guys. I've had and delivered 5 kids in total. I know 2 were miscarriages, but I still had to deliver them. And I've never experienced pain to this degree. This was the most excruciating pain. And it's like, while I'm experiencing this pain, I have to be literally on my side, my left side. I can't move. I can't walk. I mean, it was just so uncomfortable, guys. And like I said, I'm getting poked multiple times because the IV is coming out. This was a horror story. This pain was so excruciating. It was to the point I started breaking equipment. I don't know if I broke it or not, but I mean, when I'm saying like taking pieces of things and like just breaking it and throwing it, yeah, I was doing all that. Um, so that was that. Nothing felt natural about this at all. So I actually told them I wanted an epidural at this point because the pain was just too much to bear. And so I think he's called an anesthesiologist, or I'm not sure what he's called. When he came in to give me the epidural, it's so funny. Literally, he was pulling out his supplies, and I said, I think it's time to push. The doctor came in and checked me. I was 10 centimeters. She was like, too late for an epidural. So I had to feel all that pain, which was what I intended doing, but I intended doing it in a different type of way. There are coping skills that I practiced throughout this pregnancy that I thought would help me in this situation. I have delivered natural before in the past with no medication, and it was successful. This time was completely what I was not expecting. So, of course, I gave birth to a lovely baby boy, and he was completely healthy. Thank God for that. But after the birth of my son, I did experience for at least the first month. I experienced PTSD. Yes, PTSD, which is crazy because a lot of people tell me about postpartum disorder. This was not postpartum disorder. I didn't have baby blues. I was in love with baby boy. I mean, this is my first son, guys. So I was like for it. I actually was struggling with post traumatic stress disorder. That birth stressed me out so much and it felt like a trauma. It's kind of like if someone was in a car accident, they may have triggers or I want to say flashbacks of what happened. I had flashbacks, like nightmares of this birth, like up until a month after having him. It was that painful. And like I said, I really don't like not being in control. I don't like being organized. Nothing was in my control. But over time, those feelings did subside. I think they subsided because I had to come to the conclusion that and I had to do a lot of reading and research because honestly, I was very upset at GW for a long time, but I'm not upset anymore. The reason being is because what I'm realizing is that everything in life cannot be planned. It can't. And even though we may have the best intentions about how we want something to work out, it might not work out like that. But the point was the goal accomplished. And in this specific situation, the goal was to have a healthy baby boy. And I did that. How we got to that point, that is irrelevant. And that's what I had to keep telling myself. Don't focus on how we got to this point. Focus on where we are. And that is my advice for women who are either pregnant or who either are experiencing any type of disorder or post disorder after delivering is try to focus on what was your goal. And even if that means that your baby had to be in a NICU, even if that means that, you had to get a C-section, focus on, was the goal accomplished? Is your baby here, and is he or she healthy? Because that's the main point right there. Had everything worked out the way I wanted to and I had another miscarriage, would it have even been worth it? So when I started to think and analyze things like that, it started to bring me a lot more peace and contentment. Um, Honestly, guys, I feel great today. Like, I'm finally getting to a point in life where I feel like my old self. Um, it feels good to be able to do things like walk to a store or go to an appointment. I've gained back my energy. I'm not completely back at my pre-pregnancy weight, and that will be another journey of my life, but I am definitely losing weight. I can fit my pre-pregnancy clothes. They are a little tight. I am currently, actually, say I went to a WIC appointment and I found out I'm currently 189 pounds. Prior to pregnancy, I was 175. So I'm not that far away, but I still have a lot more to lose. My goal is to lose at least 10 pounds within the next month. Um, when I had baby boy, I had reached 210. So I'm at 189. I was 210. It's been 2 months. I think that's pretty decent. When I had my daughter, my 7-year older, I got that snapback, honey. It happened so quick. But the child I had before that, it took forever for me. So it's just like, honestly, each pregnancy is just so different. But I'm pretty comfortable where I am right now. But I still want to lose at least another 10 pounds. I feel good. My energy levels are pretty high. I want to say my eating habits have pretty much gone back to regular. I'm just feeling really lovely. And honey, I didn't had no idea how much I needed a son until I had a son. I literally love this boy so much. Like, his smiles, he's definitely a mama's baby. He will follow me with his eyeballs. Like, when he wakes up, he looks for me, and when he sees me, he gives me the biggest smile. And this is every morning for the past month. Ever since he's been a month old. Now he's 2 months. Ever since he's been a month old, when he wakes up, that's his routine. Where's my mommy? Once he sees me, he gives me the biggest smile. I'm so in love with him. I love all my kids equally, but this feeling of having a son is a feeling that I can't even express. I'm just so happy to have him a part of our family. You never know what your family is missing until it receives it. So he is definitely a blessing from God. He really is a blessing, and I'm just so thankful to have him. If you or if you're pregnant, if you are have a newborn, or even if you have just a baby in general, leave me a comment. If you have a son, let me know, do you feel a difference? Do you feel a type of feeling that is just unexcribable? I can't even put words to it. It's like I see him and my heart just instantly melts. So tell me, is this like just something that you feel with that last baby? Or is this something that you just feel with a son? But it's definitely a whole new game for me, a whole new game. And a question, will I be having any more? I don't plan on it. I really don't. If I were to have more, I would want to have them sooner rather than later, because I am getting older. As I mentioned, I'm 36. My thing is, I don't want to have kids past 40. I really do not want to. So actually at 40, I probably will get something done so that I don't have kids at 40. So yeah, this has been a nice chit chat, guys. I don't want to wrap you up too much, so I hope I didn't talk too much. But yes, leave me a comment. Like I said, are you feeling the son and mom connection, or is, maybe this is your last child and you feeling that? But let me know if you feeling something that's indescribable as well. So ladies, gents, whoever, stay strong.